They can smell it.
Why don't you put your pants back on, Slappy?
Stop him! Stop him! Stop him!
A little hoop action.
You gotta be taping me!
Who's got it better than us? No.
Ow!
Who's got it better than us? Everybody!
9 to noon. You gotta be bleeping me.
9 to noon.
And he's
P.A.
Kyrie will dribble this one out. The horn's going to sound here at the American Airlines Center, and the Dallas Mavericks win their third straight clutch time game. They out-execute the Wolves down the stretch, and they now have a commanding 3-0 series lead in this Western Conference Finals.
Told them we'll keep fighting. We fight. We've been fighting all series. We're not going to stop fighting. I mean, we'll look at it. We'll build it back up. We'll be ready to go on Tuesday. See what happens from there. So.
Hey, it is Memorial Day in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood is FM 100.3 KFAN, or as all the kids call it, running around on beaches across the Great Divide on Memorial Day. Welcome to KFAN. It's 9 o'clock in the Love Covenant, and I'm Paul Allen, Nordo by my side. If you were watching the Minnesota Timberwolves game last night, you may have noticed the great Kevin Harlan, surrogate one of us, daggered a Minnesota team in Wayne Larrivee-like fashion on the Gafford lob slam.
And there is your dagger!
Kevin Harlan dropped a dagger on us last night. That's what happens when you go down 3-0 to Doncic and Kyrie Irving and everything that is the surging market of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And the dagger came the way of Howl Nation and Minnesota Timberwolves devotees, once again on a lob slam to Daniel Gafford. I was like, hey, another lob slam. Seriously. They lobbed the ball to a player and slammed on all of humanity for like the 900th time this postseason and 650th time against our beloved Minnesota Timberwolves. All those lob slams, whether here, there, or everywhere, they just have so much gotcha play to them. It bugs me. Like gotcha in a way where we know you can't stop that. Or gotcha. We saw Stifle there, we saw somebody else there, and we gotcha. Like Joe Tex, old school song Joe Tex. I gotcha. It's time and time again, copyright Double T. They just keep getting us with those gotcha plays on those lobs. And it's like, cool, man. I'm thinking, all right, latter stages of the game, waiting to join young Maxwell for howling with the homies because he's my homie and I'm his. And I'm like, sweet. I got immortality in here on a holiday, and it's nothing but sadness with this 0-3 stuff to the Dallas Mavericks.
And there is your dagger!
9 to noon has basketball immortality kind enough to join us in studio on a holiday, and it's 0-3. So I guess the serendipitous nature of inviting immortality into studio on a holiday is to make sure the best laid plans are conducted before it's 0-2.
I always love that one.
But nevertheless, Lindsay Whalen in studio, which she prefers. She gets basketball better than us, has rings cred, HOF mind stuff. And on a holiday, L says yes, and it's 0-3.
I always love that one.
Trent Tucker, the professor of hoopology, in the zone with Dave Sinekin and Greg Popovich time and time again. Trent Tucker won a title with Michael Jordan. I mean, he's responsible for a rule change to make it like 0.3 is the latest you can get off a shot. Double T, Trent Tucker is basketball immortality because immortality changes rules and owns rings. So here comes basketball immortality part 2, and it's 03.
I always love that one.
And it's a holiday.
I always love that one.
And it's a Monday with no cars on the road.
I always love that one.
It's 03, but it doesn't have to be. Dang. Let's fade the music. Fire up 9 to noon. Good morning. Blowing game 2 will work on that last nerve for all the seconds, all the minutes, and all the hours. Game 2. All right. Yeah, we watched last night. We listened to last night, and we have plenty on which to opine from last night. And you can do the same via the talkbacks at the free iHeartRadio app on the microphone. And if you would like to file a report or leave a take talker that of tedium is even invited, then do so. And there's a pretty good chance we will play it back during the course of the radio show. So plenty on game 3. But game 2, man, Dallas was begging to be blown out. Just begging to be blown out. Just like they've done twice this postseason. It's game 1 against the LA Clippers. They got a week to realize how good they are with Kyrie and Luka, and an overmatched LA Clippers team beats them by 12 in game 1 of the first playoff round. And then in the second round against the vaunted kids known as OKC, the Dallas Mavericks had a game in there. They lost by 22 points. They have begged and got what they asked for. And in game 2, they were begging to get that ass whooped, and we failed to acquiesce. That was a significant turn for the negative in this series, where now it's us on Tuesday evening on KFAN who may be the swept. They are the sweepers. We may be the sweepies.
Oh, my gosh.
They are the peacock. We are the feather duster.
Oh, my gosh.
All the games have been relatively close. Messing up game 2 was a shame. And once again, their stars continue to outshine our stars late in games in every single moment in every single game. And Kevin Harlan, sadly, is right. There's your dagger. Timberwolves down 3-0 to the Dallas Mavericks. Nordo, what a fine mess you found a way to get us into, and good morning.
Good morning. No, I think you've been near perfect in summing this thing up, and it is over the course of the offseason. No team has recovered from an 0-3 deficit, by the way, to advance in the NBA postseason.
0-154.
So it's at some point in the offseason, you're going to be thankful for how amazing the year was, how much fun you had, and all of that. But you're going to spend a hell of a lot of time micromanaging
10 to 10
the moments. You're going to micromanage the Jaden McDaniels jumping out of bounds and just throwing it worthlessly into the hands of a member of the Mavericks. Yeah. You're going to think about those turnovers. You're going to think about did Finch, and he said it himself, we don't need to go home with the timeouts. We can use those timeouts at the end of game 2, set things up, get Conley back on the court. You can micromanage the turnovers by Anthony Edwards. I think 9 total turnovers in the fourth quarters alone of games 1 and 2. Ooh. And then moments like last night where Anthony, he grinds his way in that scrum to grab the ball, and instead of dribbling or passing out of it, he allows the tie-up. Ultimately, it goes to the Mavs on the tip. And all of those things, micromanaging those moments. And so trying to balance at this stage. Still, by the way, they have not been eliminated yet. They will actually, believe it or not, they're going to play a 4th game tomorrow. And they are. And we're going to get to soak that thing in. And I'm in on this thing to the finish.
Yeah.
I'm looking
to the Finchish.
If anything, if this series and potentially when this series ultimately goes the wrong way, for me, I want to see a team that comes out tomorrow and doesn't play like it's over, if that makes any sense.
I agree.
One last gasp. And all of that. And then finally, maybe as part of that tomorrow, those things that we've endured through 3 games, let's just see the fourth quarter go differently this time. Let's just see them learn from those moments over the first 3 games. I think learning's a key word when you look back at this series. for a 22-year-old. Even somebody a handful of years older than him in Karl Anthony Towns. I think a lot of learning needs to be done and a lot of reflection needs to be done over the course of this summer. But you're dead on, man. We're going to look back at this and go, what the heck was that? What the heck was that moment? Why didn't we see a timeout there? Why was this lineup on the court at this spot in this time? And then in the same stretch, you're going to go, Luka and Kyrie?
Yeah.
My freaking goodness. Is there a better backcourt duo in the NBA?
But enough with the alley-oops. Enough with the lobs.
I don't think anybody can defend those, man.
Well, I mean, they're ultimate gotchas.
It's crazy.
Almost every time they happen, it's like we are so far advanced on what's happening in front of us, and you're so remedial at attempting to stop it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It's Hayden Hurst, pandemic. Nobody saw it, U.S. Bank Stadium. It's Dalton Schultz, Dallas Vikings. Defense goes all the way one way, and then there's the guy wide open on the gotcha play.
The number I saw, I think it was into last night, maybe it was game 2, that up to the Western Conference Final, they had 47 lob buckets.
Dallas did?
The next team was
damn.
Denver with 9.
Oh, damn.
So
everybody's getting got.
Correct. So it's a thing. Now,
But we're in the Western Conference Finals. You're not supposed to be on the wrong side of 49 gotchas with the NBA Finals, the next step.
And when the roster comes out and you got 3 7-footers on the team, you're feeling pretty good about rim protection, right? You got 4-time Defensive Player of the Year guy. You got 6-Man of the Year guy. You got a 7-footer in Karl Anthony Towns. Sometimes he plays like he's 6'2", but technically he's a 7-footer. How is this working every single time? And it was the Gafford one at the end where Rudy's stuck in purgatory where he's trying to press Luka a little bit, just provide that presence.
Yep.
And Gafford on the backside, Rudy's just like, not a heck with. I'm just going to shove him. I'm just going to shove him out, and gets the and one on the dunk. Gafford and Lively. Another thing we'll think about this summer is how our bigs did or did not match up well against theirs, and how we didn't respond to what is quickly becoming the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Lob City for sure.
So the Kyrie Irving led. All right, 3-2. Happy Memorial Day. All right, 3-2. So the Kyrie Irving-led Dallas Mavericks, for large portions of the game, were virtually unstoppable.
Yeah.
Where Luka was getting the double team and Lob City had shut down for just a little bit. It's like 2 a.m. and the ugly lights came on and everybody went home. But then there was a telling moment with 6 minutes to go in this game, 6 and small change, where Luka looked at Kyrie and pointed to the corner and basically said, go to the corner, okay? Luka was like, enough of Kyrie. Let's watch me for a little bit. And he scores off 1 foot, and Dallas takes a 102-100 lead. And was that the dagger? Was that Kevin Harlan / Wayne Larrabee's dagger? No. But it just really shows the eager nature of 2 HOFs to be wanting the ball so badly because their confidence was beaming so widely, and their confidence was so high.
Yeah.
It's like after watching a quarter of Kyrie just carry the whole thing, Luka points to the corners like, no, I got this one. And then off 1 foot, one of those patented, beautiful Luka Doncic makes. It's 102-100 though.
I just want to play 2 highlights for you that at the end of this series, we're going to do a lot of. We're gonna rip on Rudy. We're gonna rip on the defense. How did you let these things happen? But these 2 highlights, I don't know how you stop them.
Dallas by 2 with possession. There's now 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in game 3. Gafford the high screen. Luka to his left. Jaden still on him. Luka beats him into the paint, shoves off, pump fakes. Now the 1-footed fall away. Got it.
That was the play.
What a drastic fall away, too, as the Wolves inbound down 4 with 2:13 left.
Okay, so Luka does his thing. Well, Kyrie's like, anything that the Slovenian can do, I can do.
Kyrie Irving, he's got it right side. Takes a run on Cat along the baseline. He'll stop. He'll pop. The 18-footer is good. 1:07 left to play, and Kyrie Irving has put the hometown Mavericks up by 6 with 1:07 left.
Jaden and Conley stuck on Kyrie for a large part of last night, so the fouls, it felt like that was an inevitability. There's a size difference there, and Conley he couldn't get around it. So 4 or 5 fouls for Conley by the end of it. But their ability, it doesn't matter. Jaden has played perfect defense, basically on an island, by the way, at times. I don't know how good that is against Luka. And those fadeaways, the fallaways, the leans. I think the 4th or 5th foul on Conley, just a little stutter and a lean from Kyrie, and then just a high bank off the glass, and one headed to the free throw line, 90% free throw shooter. He's missing a ton of them this series, but it doesn't matter because they still win. It's unbelievable. This defensive prowess, this identity of the Wolves, has been shattered.
Right.
It has been shattered in 3 games by and I don't know how you undervalue or you come into a series or you underestimate. We knew Luka was going to be good. We knew Kyrie was going to be good. Post-trade deadline with P.J. Washington and Gafford in the mix and now Kyrie and Luka playing together every night. We knew it was going to be good. I didn't know we couldn't stop it at all. I didn't know that was going to be part of the conversation, too, that we just wouldn't have any answers. And now through 3 games, Finch did it multiple times, I think, last night. He's switching to zone, then he's attacking the pick and roll up top. He was throwing everything he could.
Everything.
And switching it up at those guys, and it just, none of it has been effective at all.
We got in closing here, and then we'll welcome our first guest in around the corner from the Big D. The Timberwolves were outscored in the final 5 minutes last night, 14-3. Now, we've led within the final 5 minutes of each of these games, and I'm still pissed off at game 2 that we didn't blow them out because they were down 18 and then 15 and then 17 and then 13 and then 17 for a long-ass time, man. And it reminded me of exactly what I saw when they were blown out against the Clippers and they were blown out against the Thunder. They have a game in them, these Mavericks, and the Celtics kind of do too. They jacked around the other night, but they won. But in the previous series against teams without their best players, like the Celtics might win the championship, and they get blown out each series. The Dallas Mavericks, I believe, will win the championship, and they get blown out each series. Unless you don't take the metaphorical bull by the horns and just choke the life out of it. And that could have been the case on Friday, but it's not. So here we are. It's 9:16, courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. What's on deck 9 to noon? Includes some immortality-related guests today. They would include NBA championship winning Trent Tucker at 11 and beloved Al. Lindsey Whalen joins us in studio at 10 o'clock. And around the corner, we go down Big D Way and chat with Statsy, who's part of the vast and ever-expanding Timberwolves radio network about what the scene was like down Big D Way. You're listening to 9 to noon. Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen. Happy Memorial Day. And this is FM 100.3 KFAN.
Obviously really good shot makers, and when you get Derek Jones and PJ Washington and a lot of those other guys playing as well as they did, they're tough to beat. So just gotta figure out a way to slow both of them down, and Luka and Kyrie, and as well as those other guys too. They can't all play well like that. We have to pick and choose, and that's what we're gonna do game 4.
Well, Statsy, I hope you're happy with yourself. How are you?
Oh, it's not the most exciting Monday morning I've ever had. Last Monday morning was a little bit more fun, but you can't win them all, PA.
What I'm laughing at is because Dave Handelin, the statistician for Alan Horton and now Jim Peterson on the vast and ever-expanding Wolves Radio Network, generally does only home games, but during the postseason, he'll go do some road games. And this was a different situation with the Western Conference Finals. So I just remember seeing you, David Handelin, at SuperStatsDave via Twitter. Follow him as 9 to noon does. I remember seeing you middle of the afternoon Saturday at the Canterbury Park press box before you were about ready to unfurl Dave's faves with a bunch of winners for Saturday, 5 o'clock at Canterbury. And you were so joyous, and we were down 0-2, and I was at the game Friday, and of course you were executing your toil, and we were chatting about the missed shots and how they were begging to get blown out, the Mavericks and things like that, and you were just so full of joy, and then you mentioned to me that you were paying your way to So wait a second, you paid your way to go to Dallas to be part of these games, and now they might get swept. If that's the case, I just feel so bad for you.
You know, I'm looking at it as a once-in-a-lifetime experience over the last 20 years. I haven't had the opportunity like this, so now that I do, I'm going to embrace it.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a different result last night. The Phoenix, round one, when I did that, Phoenix went perfectly. That's how this was supposed to go.
Right.
And that has not quite that wasn't how last night went.
So have you like looked to change flights or maybe cut a day of Dallas hotel, save yourself a little pick 5 money for Saturday and Sunday at CBY and just like come back and not do game 4? Or are you still going to stay down there and be statsy for game 4?
Hey, I'm going to be statsy for game 4, and I want to get a win. I want to send this back, get another game at Target Center. We have the rest of the summer to watch basketball. Let's participate in it a little bit more. But it's not the way anybody wants it to go. But
you're sad.
It's so frustrating, PA.
You're
right?
sad. You're sad.
How close these have been.
You're sad right now, aren't you?
I'm a little bit sad. I'm optimistic, but I'm sad. Just right, like it's one of my favorite teams. It's my favorite team, and I thought we had them last night. We got sucked in. That 13-1 run with the Ant dunk. So vibe-wise there, PA, when Ant had that dunk,
yes,
it was like a note. I don't know how well it picked up on TV or radio. It was a noticeable gasp in the arena of like the Dallas fans just watched their guy get killed, and it was Gafford. Like, I don't know how well that came across on there, but it was and you could hear every 18,000 people do that, which was kind of fun, but got sucked in like, all right, we're going to win this thing. It was the optimism that I showed from Saturday up there in the press box. It was out in full effect yesterday when that run was going on. Like, all right, this is it. Wolves are coming back. We're going to win. The series is going to be 2-1,
right,
and we're going to win on Tuesday night, and it's going to be 2-2 heading to Target Center. Oh. It all was in my mind.
You know, the cool thing is you've been close to this team for a long time, and in 20 years since they've been this deep in the playoffs. It's not going well right now, but at least week 1, I believe, or week 2 of Dave's faves were paying people off at Canterbury this weekend, right?
Sunday we had a very good day.
See, there we go.
4 of 8 top pick winners, and luckily with the Minnesota gambling laws, I was able to play these and stuff from down here in Texas.
All right, well,
that was a little insult to injury.
Right, but I mean, see, we can take this whole thing a step farther because the con went down that road, and I didn't know that. And I was at the racetrack yesterday, and because you weren't there, I didn't see Dave's faves. So let me get this straight. You had to sell this trip to your wife and your employer. You had to get into your wallet, into your credit card, and pay for it. Now you're getting paid for the games, assumedly. And they're probably going to get swept. And by not being at Canterbury Sunday for the running of the Bulldogs and Dave's faves, you cost yourself $1,350 in what would have been profitable wagers. This is an unbelievable turn of events, David.
I think you have the sounder. The L.
David,
do we have that here?
L.
Yeah, we got that fat L.
There we go.
Yeah, we got fat L's flying all over the place on Memorial Day. I mean, shoot. Our longtime friend, surrogate brother and boss, Chad Abbott, he's in here today for whatever the reason, and I'm like, well, why is he here? Well, because he feels badly that he asked all of the core 4 to come in today.
I always love that
to
one.
celebrate this unbelievable Wolves vibe. We're all here. Nobody's complaining. Statsy's down Dallas way stuck. Could have won $2,000 on Dave's faves, but instead you're paying $2,500 for a trip that's going to lead to a sweep. And our boss is here feeling bad that all the core 4's here. So he's like, I got to get in there too to support my guys. It's just such a weird Memorial Day, Statsy.
It is a very weird Memorial Day. We're not used to Timberwolves basketball Memorial Day.
Good point.
We're into horse racing season right now, but no, we should have won last night, PA. All 3 games Like I was doing like my getting ready for you here, and it was just like we've led late in every game. Like a little things change, and it could be 3-0 the other way.
David,
and instead it's 0-3.
I've chatted with you for many, many years. This is the least lucid you have ever sounded. So the metaphorical 2x4 that hit you over the head last night at American Airlines Center Arena, Union, whatever they call it, that's one thing. But you stayed up till like 4 or 5 in the morning lamenting this loss, didn't you?
We were out a little bit last night. You know, it's so hot down here, PA. Like the end of the game, like I felt like an absolute. I looked like a faucet.
Well, yeah, the sun's called Luka Doncic and the humidity Kyrie Irving.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what they are. We had that. Then I'm running up stairwells, like because I was trying to get audio for Allen down in the locker room.
That sounds
and
horrible.
I had to run up to the 3rd floor of the stadium, the 3rd level. Then it was locked. I had to take the escalator down and then run back up to the 2nd level.
Yeah.
Give it to Allen, and then it's like, all right, we got what we need. Go outside. So I'm already like, I'm already a disaster at this point of like sweating and like just uncomfortableness.
Oh, geez.
And then we walk outside, and it's like 90 degrees, and I was a pure mess.
Yeah.
I was ashamed to look at. I was so sweaty. I'm like, thanks, Dallas.
Yeah.
How loud was it in there when Gafford got the and one dunk?
The one-hander.
I mean, he was like he's basically like he's becoming like Bobby Portis when the Bucks made that run, where it's about Giannis, it's Middleton, Jrue, the whole thing, but then Bobby Portis emerges as this massive fan favorite, and now with Gafford and Lively on the shelf, who knows if he'll make it tomorrow night or not. Gafford has become the fan favorite, and it sounded like the place exploded when he got that dunk.
It was so loud at that point, and there was like so much commotion with it. We didn't realize that there was a foul called, and it turned into an and one. Because that was kind of the culmination of everything that they had. That was kind of
over.
That was the end point where he made that dunk, got the foul, and that arena blew up at that point. It was a complete celebration of Dallas Mavericks basketball, and it was a bummer to watch.
Statsy.
But yeah, the Gafford Lively combo, and I hope Lively's okay. That was a scary situation last night, and I know they're saying it was a neck injury, but it seemed like it was potentially more than that. But that was a scary situation. That zapped the energy that was in that arena. That zapped it pretty good for a while. Everybody was kind of in shock, kind of trying to figure out what was going on there.
Statsy, Dave Handelin at SuperStatsDave via Twitter, a statistician for Alan Horton on the Wolves Radio Network, calling us from Dallas, where he was on site, on air, on demand, and on site for the L last evening. You're an elite statistician, and you've been the Wolves Radio Network statistician for a long time. I mean, how sick of you are sliding these Post-it notes to the Vox or the analyst, entailing the number of gotcha play Dallas lobs that they keep executing on us in gotcha play-like fashion. I mean, they're alley-ooping and dunking all over us, and it's bugging the bleep out of me, Statsy.
Yeah, I think Alan had it last night. The first 2 games, they had 20 dunks on us. 20 dunks in the first 2 games. I think last night was 5 with like 2 or 3 of them were alley-oops. And it's so it got cut down, but then the one Nordo mentioned there, the Gafford at the end, which was part of the party. Just frustrating to watch them do that. But it's Luka and Kyrie have that pass down, right? Like it's they make it look so easy, and it's not the most easy. It requires timing by everybody. And they've got that completely down, and it's such a dagger of a play because it's usually the culmination of you've stopped Kyrie or Luka, and you're not having them shoot. And then it turns into just an easy 2-point dunk that riles everybody up.
Lobs are major buzzkills for many reasons. Because when you execute an alley-oop on the road at Target Center, all the Billies and Johnnies and Christies and Susies and Coleys and Tamikas and Antoines, well, they're up and cheering because they're excited, and then they got to sit down because somebody just lobbed on that ass. And then when you're down at your arena and like they're getting 3 of those lob baskets early in the game, all the belt buckles and all the 10-gallon hats, man. They're all standing up, singing Garth Brooks songs and Brooks and Dunn. They're just going nuts because that's what the lob does. The alley-oops and the lobs are gotcha plays, and gotcha plays are bad for business when you're on the wrong side of it. The con.
How long, if this series, again, nobody's ever come back from 0-3, and we're all hoping we're going to root for them tomorrow night, force a game 5, force a game 6.
Been a great talker.
# Wolves in 7, all of that. Miracles happen, etc. How much do you spend going, my goodness, with all these late-stage meltdowns in these games? It could have very easily been 2-1 out of the weekend, etc. How long do you mourn before you start to then turn the page and celebrate what overall has been a terrific season?
God, that's a good question. I would think the morning's going to take a little while, probably until, right? It's probably going to be, if it goes on, it'll be probably through the NBA Finals, because you're gonna be, that could be us, right? Like with the Vikings when the late losses, and you think, God, what would the Vikings have done in the Super Bowl in that situation? It's going to be probably the same thing in this if it would get down to that. And maybe once the Larry O'Brien is given to a hand, you're going to think, yeah, that could have been us, and then move on. And then you're going to buy your Dave's phase, and then you're going to go to Vikings training camp, and everything's going to be right on to the next.
Dallas was begging to get blown out in game 2. Just begging. Just like the first game against the Clippers. They're getting killed the entire game, and they cut it to 12 simply, for the proverbial icing on the cake to make it look like it ain't that bad, which it was. And then in the last series, I mean, they're down 30 and change to OKC. They lose by 22. This team has a moment within series and within games where the Dallas Mavericks, they just want to get blown out. Maybe they just want to get blown out. So they have, like a new made-up chip on a shoulder, like the made-up ant trash-talking Kyrie after Game 7 against Denver. And it was right there. I ain't saying the series would be different. It would be because we'd have a win. I ain't saying that it would flip the whole thing. But if somebody is right in front of you begging to get blown out, and you're taking advantage of it in the first half, and you do not acquiesce and take what they're offering you, well, then you're just in a whole lot of trouble off that, don't you think, off that game too?
For sure. You have, when you have an opportunity in front of you, especially here in the playoffs, you have to take the most of it and not give it any sort of life, right? For you mentioned that against Oklahoma City. Remember that versus the Clippers, Dallas was down at home like by 30 points in the first half. Do you remember that at all? Like they were behind by 30 in the first half and they fought back. But in the playoffs, these teams are too good. If you let them hang around, teams are going to fight back. Dallas let Minnesota maybe was a little bit flat last night. Dallas didn't step on the throat. Minnesota came back. We're like, it's the Final Four of the NBA right now.
Yeah.
These are the best of the best.
Yeah.
And if you give them an opportunity, they're going to come back. And like what we talked about Saturday night, Dallas wanted to get blown out that game. Minnesota didn't take advantage of it. And then we find ourselves now down 3-0. Like the chance was there, and Minnesota did not take it. And Dallas has been opportunistic. They've taken every chance that they've got. They've made the most of it.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, the ones that are killing me, PA, Nordo, these Luka, Kyrie shots, like the degree of difficulty doesn't show up anywhere on the box score. Right. Or like, it feels like Nas, Jaden, Rudy, they're defending them well, and they're hitting these fadeaway spinning shots from 17, 18 feet.
Right.
It's like, that's a great shot you're forcing them into.
Yeah.
It's just, we got Hall of Fame players making Hall of Fame shots at the biggest point of the season, and there's no answer for that.
This is and or was a covenant checkup on a dear friend of ours, David Hanlon, who paid his way to go to Dallas to sit next or between or next to Jim Peterson or Alan Horton and work stats on the Timberwolves radio network. Whole thing's going to stick him about $4,000. Pissed off his wife. His wife didn't want him to go. Had to leave a day early from work. And also Canterbury Park, where he sells Dave's faves. And lo and behold, they're about to get swept. So this was a covenant checkup just to check on the well-being of David Handelin at SuperStatsDave via Twitter just to make sure our guy's okay.
Yeah, speaking of seeing if a guy's okay, have you, while you're sweating profusely, you're running up flights of stairs, you're encountering locked doors, etc., and nothing seemingly is going right.
That's awesome.
Have you seen Carl in the hallways at all? Because you want to talk about something that's not going right, a guy where the Wolves are probably not in the Western Conference Final without Karl Anthony Towns. The Wolves are not going to the NBA Finals, and Karl has a lot to do with that. And the lack of shooting, the lack of success on the court. Have you seen Karl? Is Karl okay?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't. As I was creating Lake David on my body last night, I did not see Cat, but it was.
Nice.
Had such a.
Nice of you to care about Cat's well-being after a really rough night.
Yeah, way to be selfish.
I mean, we call you. Why don't you call Cat?
I know. I would have. Cat and I text and talk more than people know. No, like after Cat had the Denver series and how well he played and everything that he went trying to stop Jokic, like it's been like the shot just hasn't fallen for him this series, and it's very. You feel bad for the guy. He's a super nice guy. Shots just not falling, and media hasn't been overly kind to him or Rudy on this, which is not fair to those guys. But
it generally happens when you're down 0-3, but anyway.
It generally happens when you're down 0-3 compared to people weren't going at P.J. Washington and Derek Jones for not scoring the first couple of games because they were winning the games.
Okay. Well, Derek Jones Jr. doesn't score, but that's okay. Go ahead.
He had been scoring, but yes, it's.
We had them so after the Ant dunk, so like 6 and change, 7 and change to go. Whenever that took place, all right. The Ant, the posterizing bit.
That was mid third quarter.
Mid third quarter. Thank you.
Mid third quarter.
Yeah, it was just beautiful. Well, Dallas went pear-shaped immediately after that, and Derek Jones Jr. had a lot to do with it. My man's freaking out, dribbles down to the baseline, picks up his dribble, then just throws the ball out of bounds. So I'm like, we got that dunk.
Yeah.
Gafford's on the back of the metaphorical milk carton. Derek Jones Jr. just threw it back to middle school basketball where he picked up his dribble on the baseline and threw it away. We're coming. I mean, right there, I'm like, they went pear-shaped finally. But it didn't matter, did it? No, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Even Luka had like a turnover in there. Everything was going the Minnesota way at that point.
Yeah, except your bank account.
Here we go.
So what you going to do today? You're going to go to the Dallas World Aquarium and go fishing for a Timberwolves victory?
I always love that one.
I might. Let's see. What are we going to do today? I thought about maybe going to the JFK Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will probably maybe hop in the pool here at the hotel for a little bit.
Bragger.
And then I might be going out with potentially one of my friends on the Dallas organization.
Oh, really?
Today.
Why don't you go to the AT&T Discovery District and ask them why my bill's always so high?
I always love that one.
That's an opportunity for you to spend some time today. All right. Or you can go to the House of Blues, Dallas. I mean, that feels like every game we play is in the House of Blues. You got the Dallas Museum of Art. There's a Minnesota trophy reference somewhere in there that I'm going to leave off to the side, and I'm just going to say that we love you. And
way to cheer yourself up by going to the JFK Museum today.
And we
that's probably not the greatest place for a little uplifting spot. But how about this Dallas area? The Dallas Stars are in the Western Conference Final. Is that what we call it in hockey?
Yeah, it's the
They're
final.
in that and in basketball. The vibe down here is really good right now.
Head down to Arlington, and you can probably see a World Series winning banner flying above the stadium because, the Rangers, the fan has learned they won the World Series last year. So good that, thank the Lord, they have the counterfeit Cowboys down there to even the ledger with this sports hierarchy they've just developed. Statsy.
So the radio engineer that we had last night, his three things that he does are Rangers, Mavs, and the Stars. Jeez. He doesn't do anything with the Cowboys. So he's won those three teams. So I'm having a lot of fun right now. He was also cheering and nearly punched me in the face near the end of the run out of excitement. But he was saying, and I didn't know this, when Dallas has won their titles, when the Rangers won last year, when the Mavs beat the Heat back in like 2011, and when the Stars won their title, every title they've won has been the winning game has been on the road. So he's now getting greedy of like when they win, he wants to win at home.
Yeah.
So like that's the level of excitement that the guy next to me had, who nearly punched me after a Kyrie made shot.
Well, see
he was
that,
cheering
but
so
that,
much.
that's what the happiness of winning does, and it's something that we had and we no longer have. But what we do have is you stuck 4,500 on a makeshift vacation and sliding Alan Horton Post-it notes on the 40 lobs the Mavericks continue to execute in the postseason. And that's our lot in life, and we accept it, and we move on, and hopefully they get a victory on Wednesday, and you come back to work on Thursday and or Friday, and you're super happy, happier than you are now. Okay, David?
Hey, I'm going to be happy. Every day we can be happy. We can find something to be happy with.
Yes, sir.
Day. We'll make it. We're in the Western Conference Finals. Let's win on Tuesday and then do this all again on Thursday.
My man, thanks for calling the radio show. Safe travels. We'll chat soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
See ya. Say bye to Statsy, Nordo.
Bye, Statsy.
Okay, bye, Statsy. Yeah, we miss you, Statsy. Wife wasn't happy you went.
Correct.
Maxed the credit card, paying his own way, getting paid a nominal fee or a stipend to be the statistician for the Wolves Radio Network.
Which is enough for like Chick-fil-A and then admittance to the JFK Museum.
Could be. And goes down there with the full intention of, I've seen the games. I've been the statistician for the first 2 games, says Statsy Dave. We're going to win game 3. It's going to be a hell of a trip.
It's going to be awesome.
Then all of a sudden,
L.
And you're looking at like the Dallas Museum of Art or the Mobile Visit Center or the AT&T Discovery District or the JFK Memorial. I mean, it's all not bad stuff and everything, but it's not why he went.
He's walking around looking like me in Cincinnati circa 2016.
How hard did that hit you? It hit me so hard when he said after the game, because the Vox wanted sound and the elevator was either broken or the line was too long, he walked from the bottom of the arena stairs to the top of the arena.
It's awful.
Gets there, and the door's locked. And he's banging. Hey, what about the box? And the door's locked.
Yeah, and you can't find anybody with keys in that spot.
Oh, Statsy must have been sweating right there. All right. Thank you, David. At SuperStatsDave via Twitter. He's a super cool individual, one of my better friends, somebody I've known quite some time, and very kind to join 9 to noon. Well, we're down 3-0 to the Mavs, so let's blow off the cobwebs and dust off some Vikes Bites around the corner, and then welcome basketball immortality into the studio to discuss the Timberwolves and much more. Beloved L. Lindsay Whalen will join us in studio about 15 minutes from now. Nordo produces. Yours truly is Paul Allen. A very happy Memorial Day to all of you. And thanks as always for listening to KFAN.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. It is time for Vikes Bites.
Why are we doing Vikes Bites nearing the end of the NBA playoffs and we got a team in the Western Conference finals?
Because they're down 0-3, PA.
Yep, which means Vikes Bites is going to come in handy here momentarily.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
And here they are.
And it's all brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. Elite product, regenerative agriculture. It's a Minnesota company, Clearwater, Minnesota born. You can learn more at thousandhillslifetimegrazed.com and buy it. Local co-op, local Coburn's locations on the website. You can find it all over the place.
The full-time package handler, dear friend Lonnie Anderson, driving to Iowa right now.
Yeah.
He got the bat signal. He's listening to 9 to noon. And he says, as the therapeutic Davenport of love would go, whether we're cracking wise or being sarcastic or lamenting or being sad or being hyperactive, he says it definitely is helping with the Wolves-related pain.
It is.
So whatever
Good.
Memorial Day approach we crafted, which we didn't craft one, we're just in here doing our jobs. It seems in therapeutic Davenport of love-like fashion, at least one Timberwolves fan, the full-time package handler, is feeling better about his distraction-related lot in life. thanks to the Love Covenant, because we aim to please.
Well, and if we had done this the more traditional route, Memorial Days, Labor Days, we would do best of, quote unquote. We'd play some of our favorite segments from the previous weeks.
Sir.
Think about if Lonnie or anyone's driving around today and they're hearing from the Friday feast, the Wolves are absolutely going to win tonight, as in Game 2.
Yeah.
Easy correctable fixes from Game 1. Definitely don't need the turnovers.
Yeah.
Feeling a massive bounce back from Carl, etc. Picture driving around on a morning like today and having to hear that. So, thankfully, we are here for you 9 to noon, and we love you.
Allen Iverson with the Timberwolves and eventually the Vikings with the Bizzles. I mean, he put it perfectly years ago. That's really all we want.
I want to win, man. That's all I care about.
That's all we want. That's all we care about.
And we care about the Vikings winning games in 2024 and beyond. I saw this from ProFootballTalk.com.
Oh, the Walters bit?
Yep.
Yeah.
During the first night of the draft, Florio writes, we caught wind of something that ultimately couldn't be sufficiently confirmed to become an official PFT blurb. Florio includes that, of course, to let you know that anything on that site has been double, triple, quadruple checked and confirmed. As the unconfirmed rumor went, the Vikings were trying to trade up to number 5 with the Chargers, with the goal of cutting in line in front of the Giants, with the goal of not taking a quarterback, but LSU receiver Malik Neighbors. So Florio is saying that was a rumor. Well, now he writes, on Sunday, near the bottom of a Sunday column from Charlie Walters of the St. Paul Pioneer Press, covering multiple aspects and angles of Minnesota, appears a stunning blurb. Psst. Walters writes, there was buzz at draft time that the Vikings wanted to move from 11 to 5, not to take a quarterback, but to get LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors, who was picked number 6 by the Giants. Had that trade occurred, Jefferson, as in Justin Jefferson, would have been traded, and Neighbors would be the number 1 receiver. And so, exactly. So
what's up, shooter?
So Florio goes on, that's the kind of nugget that would be far more credible if it were the subject of a standalone article that fully and completely fleshed out the situation. That said, the Pioneer Press...
Well, now Florio's going after old school shooter.
He is, yeah, but then he writes, the Pioneer Press surely has editorial standards that would have compelled them to have a level of comfort before allowing such a consequential assertion.
Making this thing sound like Woodward and Bernstein.
To be printed, exactly. So Florio, big if true, as some like to say. Florio wrote, in this specific case, it's massive if it's true. He goes down the line, of course, that the contract hasn't been signed. They can keep him. They can trade him. They can play him on his 5th year and franchise tag him and kick the can down the road. But it's an unresolved situation and a rumor percolating via Mr. Walters of the Pioneer Press.
Well, Florio shared this 9 to noon, the Neighbors part.
Yeah.
Where Malik Neighbors, New York Giants, right? Malik Neighbors, New York
Giants, 6th overall, yes.
Where he, it's Mike didn't make it sound like this was an A-list source. Maybe it is. Maybe, I guess we'll find out Wednesday, maybe.
Well, I think that's why he went out of his way on the front end to say that we heard this rumor. Yep. It was unconfirmed. So therefore, it wasn't up to snuff for Pro Football Talk to put it on their website.
And the editorial board, assumedly, how do you put it? the editorial wherewithal, assumedly a what?
The Pioneer Press surely has editorial standards that would have compelled them to a level of comfort.
Thank you.
Before allowing such a consequential assertion to be printed.
Thank you. Well, what if Florio's side piece source, Little Birdie, was right?
Oh my gosh.
What if they did try to trade up for LSU's Malik Neighbors? And what if the plan was to trade Jefferson, thinking we've gotten everything out of this guy, we can't get together on this bottom line and build it the way we want to build it? So we're going to make a play here, and we're going to get this guy and move that guy. I ain't saying he's right, but what if he's right? I ain't saying he's right, but what if the side piece birdie went to squawking some truth?
Well, then that means Florio was afraid to write the truth.
Yeah.
And Charlie Walters came up big on the report at the bottom of a Sunday column.
Hey, at least Minnesota won something.
I always love that one.
I mean, seriously. I'm like in Canterbury Park race calls yesterday, and there was a horse 20 lengths back, and I'm like, they're farther behind than the Timberwolves in the playoffs.
I always love that.
I mean, it's becoming a side piece, like a throwaway line or whatever. This whole thing. I don't know if it's accurate. I'm not gonna guess on it. I don't talk to the general manager or the head coach about things like this.
Well, this feels like the months leading up to ultimately the departure of Kirk Cousins and Daniil Hunter.
Beloved L found her way in. That's what crafty guards do.
Well, not
Doors
only
locked all over the place. She crosses over on a keyhole, and here she is.
Well, we could have used her expertise when Dave Handelin was on last segment because all he is seeing these days are locked doors. But it reminds me of the days pre-Kirk leaving, pre-Daniil Hunter leaving, where we had so much time to speculate. The idle hands theory of sorts. And maybe there was some truth to it, maybe there isn't. But in the end, he's still here. He is under contract, and everyone's itching to see that ink dry upon the new pages of an extension.
Those are Vikes Bites provided by
Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef.
The next Chrissy Everett, the next Tracy Austin, the next Martina Navratilova has joined us in studio. She's a Minnesota basketball immortality, and she knows more about the schematics of hoops than do we. So, beloved Al, Lindsay Whalen joins 9 to noon around the corner. Into the second hour. Yep, here we are on Memorial Day at FM 100.3 KFAN.